As long as I have a microphone that I don't hate, I'm probably gonna end up making videos of some sort. It's like it's weird, dude. I don't know. This feels like some sort of addiction. I got into making videos when I was like 15 and I was scared of the microphone. I didn't like sitting in front of it, but I lived off in the middle of God knows where. I'm not gonna tell you. I mean, I probably said it at some point, but I lived off in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods. And, growing up out there, closest neighbor is probably like quarter mile away, and then more neighbors miles away. And then the only neighbors like around within your age range are probably like 4 to 5 years older or younger than you, if you're lucky. And I would consider myself to be lucky because I had some kids in my area that were actually within that range. And, you know, go hang out with them. It's like that weird kind of friendship, though, where it's like, if you're the younger one, it feels like the other person's being forced to hang out around you. And if you're the older one, it feels like you're kind of forced to be able to, sorry, feels like you're forced to hang out with the younger kid. Either way, it's like, yeah, you want to be there because there's nothing else to do. But at the same time, it's kind of awkward. Like, you don't get that connection because either the older person knows something that you don't, that they're definitely not supposed to expose you to. And then if you're the older one, you're like, okay, I can't. You're thinking to yourself, there's some shit that I could tell this kid. And it would be funny as hell. But then I'd probably get in trouble for that. So, yeah, whatever. The point was, options were limited. There was not very many people to socialize with. So, naturally, I was a little mountain boy, little boy in the woods. Outside of school, I didn't really have access to friends. Probably had friends over like once a month if I was lucky during school. And outside of that, it was just me and my lonesome self. Um, I mean, I had books. That was really my escape, is that I would fucking read all the time. So many books. Like, I think back on it, and I was like, there were points where I was reading like 3 books a day. Granted, it's from like the young adult fiction from the library section. And these are books that are maybe like 300 pages long, 250 double spaced. It's not that long, but still thinking about it, I'm like, 3 books in a day? And I remember reading the Harry Potter series in a week. That was probably the 4th time I had read it. Consider that. So it was bleak. It was a little bit bleak. And then if you get in the cycle of, not talking to people, then you're not good at talking to people. And then you go to school and, well, socially fucked a little bit. So when I was about 14 or 15, right, I finally got myself a cell phone, which I had to pay for myself by getting my own job. That's when I really started watching YouTube because, get this, I didn't have the internet out there. Crazy, right? Like, I had my cell phone data and it was so bad that I'd be lucky to let like a YouTube video sit there and buffer for an hour and maybe I could watch like 2 of those things a day. Outside of that, I was not really consuming much content, but I did like the content that I was consuming. I watched, gaming content, commentary content, all this stuff normal for that age. And at some point, right, you build parasocial relationships, but I never really felt it. I think the same way a lot of people that get addicted to the internet do, because I was like, I want to be that person. I kind of want to get that kind of social interaction because I'm sitting here all on my lonesome, and it's not like, how do I put this? It's like, instead of going to somebody for friendship, I was sort of like, I want people to come to me. I want to be the center of attention. Mostly because I just didn't know how to introduce myself. I don't think I've ever actually introduced myself once. Check that. Once I made a friend by introducing myself to them. But all the rest of them, like, it's more or less like they introduced themselves to me, or we were just in the same area and ended up talking because of something that was going on. So I've never been good at that, but thankfully people seem to like to talk to me, or at least approach me to talk to me. So I figured, like, you know, teenager brain, you're like, who needs social interaction? I'll just make YouTube videos. And of course, it didn't work for a while, as it always does. Then I made the Doom videos, and at that point, I still sounded like shit on the microphone. I did not know how to speak. Like, people, I look back on some of the comments of those videos, and people are like, yo, this kid sounds like he's hiding in his bedroom, or what the fuck was up with him? But people liked my commentary. I didn't know how to speak, but they liked my commentary. Haha. I still haven't managed to get rid of the filler words. I gotta think about that more consciously. So naturally, I started practicing speaking. And over time, as it developed, I got kind of good at it. This YouTube channel is kind of like my speech therapy, in a sense, my social practice, as well as just being a place to put shit, to say shit, to do bullshit. Like, if I don't know what else to do, I've got YouTube. That's what I go do. That's my fallback. And I mean, oh God, I forgot about this. But even before I was making gaming style funtages and whatnot, I was making claymation videos, Lego stop frame animation videos. I was trying to do that shit because I saw that on YouTube and I was like, damn, that's cool as hell. And I knew that I could do it because I had this little tiny $29 Sony fucking whatever awful camera. But, you know, found a tripod, had some Legos, set stuff up, took pictures and whatnot, and that was fun because I could go and every couple of days go check to see how many views it got, and I was so proud of it when I had a video hit like a few hundred views. That was intense. And animation, holy shit, I forgot about that. MS Paint animations, most dog shit stuff you ever saw. It's not even funny how bad it was. I think I was trying to copy like the ASDF type of shit that was coming out at the time. If anybody remembers that. And my first YouTube video was me sticking in an M80 in a stuffed giraffe and blowing it to shit. And that video actually got removed by YouTube. And I thought that the video was safe because it was on my YouTube channel, right? Like, I could go and download that at any point. Wrong. I lost it. I can't even watch that video anymore. They removed it because it supposedly endangered child safety, which, fair. I was 12 at the time, putting an M80 in a giraffe. Like, kids probably shouldn't be handling explosives, and I didn't think to put any disclaimers on there, so this is what it is. That was shitty, though. YouTube, give me my video back. Come on. I want it. Just let me download it and save it on my YouTube. Save it off of YouTube onto my computer so then I can have it for the memories. That'd be nice. But yeah, I'm really just yapping nowadays. The YouTube grind calls me like a bitch on a Friday. And the microphone sings to me like the Green Goblin mask. I have a pressure on my cranium to expunge the thoughts inside of my head into an audio timeline. It is truly a symptom of the ages. Honestly, does anybody fucking read anymore? I know people say they read online and whatnot. Like, I see people talking about the books that they read, but most of the time it's like an audiobook. Or they'll sit down and read like 20 pages per day because it's on a list somewhere. But does anybody actually read because they want to? I ask this because it got hard for me to read. It's never been hard for me to read. like I said, I could read, I could put down 700 pages in a day. That's nothing to sneer at. That's a fucking lot. Matter of fact, like my small town teachers thought I was some sort of boy genius because I was reading so damn much. But the truth was is that I didn't have shit to do. But nowadays, I don't think people read. I think they just buy books and listen to audiobooks when they can. I mean, I'm sure there's people that actually read like fantasy novels. Those do really well in sales, and I know that women read a lot of romance novels, borderline pornography. That's kind of gross. But I don't see anybody actually like really, really invested in reading because our attention spans are fried. And I get this, like my attention span's kind of fried right now, I'm not gonna lie. Even though I've been working on it, it's gotten so much better than it was, but my attention span is still fucking fried. I'll sit down, read a book. 30 minutes is the best that I can do. Honestly, like there's just other stuff that I can be doing that's more productive. But at some point, like these are books that I need to read. Like this is research for other shit. And it's just a slog. Getting into it alone just takes so much time nowadays. And, I'm probably really shooting myself in the fucking foot because of the types of books that I'm reading. I picked up a fiction novel not too long ago. It was like literary fiction style. Not even literary. I think it's literary fiction. It's White Jazz by James Elroy. And I sat down and I actually read that for like 2 hours straight. And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I'm reconsidering everything I just said now. I think the problem is that I'm reading literal fucking textbooks. For example, I'm working through The Principles of Psychology by William James, which, by the way, came out in the 1900s and is totally outdated. And if you want to learn psychology, you shouldn't be reading it. But I just like William James. I like the way that people write back then. I like the time period. I like just his pragmatism. So I'm reading it. And although I like that kind of book, it's still so hard to get into. Like, it's hard to sit there and read it for like 2 hours. And I mean, it was probably hard for college students to sit down and read this for their exams. And I'm guessing that they had at least a semester to read the whole thing. So, I don't know. Why am I bitching? That's the real problem. I need to shut the fuck up. Maybe my attention span isn't as bad as I think it is. Because I'll be like, yo, I'm having a problem reading. And somebody will be like, what are you reading? And I'll be like, oh, just Human Action by Ludwig von Mises. And they'll be like, what is that? And I'm like, Austrian economics? And, they'll stand there and shake their head. Or I'll be getting mad at a book, and I'll literally feel like throwing it across the fucking... I'm like, this guy is so fucking stupid. Why does he even use these words? This does not make any sense. He could have written this so much better, and I'm spending more time complaining about it. I'm like, sitting next to somebody, just talking shit about this author, and they're like, dude, you're reading Kant. And I'm like, oh, yeah. That is kind of like the most stale, fucking saltine cracker type of dense book. It's like a fucking foot-thick saltine cracker. The fucking, Critique of Pure Reason. I would argue that it's not even good. I would say that's why it's boring, is that it's not good. This is why people read Nietzsche. Is because at least he's interesting. He uses convoluted phrases and whatnot, and you have to like sit there and think a little bit sometimes, but at least he's like funny sometimes. Right? He'll talk shit about women. I don't know how I've confined myself to this type of book. Like, the most entertaining thing that I read is biography. Oh, oh, my voice. Forgive me. Most entertaining thing I've been reading is biographies. My voice just did it again. Like John D. Rockefeller, George Washington, Napoleon Bonaparte, Robert Moses, the power broker. Like, how do I get myself into this shit? I have, like, the collected writings and letters of Abraham Lincoln in a hardback. What the fuck? Why do I have that shit? Buddhist teachings. It's like some integral spirituality. It's like, I don't care about that stuff. Okay, I guess I'm just trying to get, like, a very broad knowledge base. But sometimes I really just wish I could sit down and actually read a good fantasy novel. Or, I don't know, I think the problem is that I want to read these books because I want to get the knowledge out of them, and I also want to get the entertainment that I get from a fantasy book. So, you know, you can't have both. Right? You gotta choose your prizes. Can't have all of it. Which sucks. I wish I could. I want to sit down and read through the entire Kant trilogy and be like, fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! And have, like, build-ups and climaxes, but instead it's just like, here, rub some sandpaper on your dick for the next 3 hours. That's what it sounds like to read that book, by the way. Critique of Pure Reason. And then you might just ask, like, okay, why the fuck are you reading it then if it's so bad? I like reading books I disagree with. That's another problem. I might be a bit of, like, a mental masochist or some shit. I mean, you saw it clearly with me here on YouTube. I would just get pissed off at shit and talk about it. And now I guess I do the same thing with books, but I have a reason with the books, because when I read a book that I fundamentally disagree with on philosophical principles, those are philosophical principles I wouldn't have otherwise thought to regard at all. And now that I'm disagreeing with them, I suddenly know where I stand. It's like you had to hear the thing to know what you think about it. And these books have a lot of that. And even if I'm like, okay, this is fucking stupid, that's bullshit, I fucking hate this guy, I'm gonna go find his grave and piss on it because he's actually dead, and I could probably do that. That's what I want to do for vacation. I want to go piss on Kant's grave. I want to go find Hegel's grave. I want to piss on his. What about Karl Marx, too? Yeah. I mean, Das Kapital, 3,000 pages of the worst bullshit you ever heard. Holy motherfucker of Jesus Christ. On the bright side, you get to know what you think. And then you get to sit there and think out the reasons. Like, oh, I think determinism is stupid because it's based upon a single assumption that free will has to do with things that you can't inherently do. Oh, that's fucking stupid. Oh, that's fucking stupid. Why do we do that? Oh, you have no free will because you weren't born as black and tall, and therefore you can't get into the NBA. You're disadvantaged. You don't have free will to get into the NBA. I mean, you could at least try. But I mean, if we're just going solely off of factors that are like, you were born this way, you can't fucking do this thing. If willpower has nothing to do, willpower has everything to do with what you're able to do. Able and willing, right? Able and willing. Fuck you, Robert Sapolsky. Your book sucks. Dick. Not even big dick. Like, small, gross penis. Fuck you. Anyways, like, I read so many of these, like, new age, pop science, pop philosophy type of shit, and it's, you see all the reviews, and it's like, all these high stakes editorials, and they're like, this is the greatest thing since big name philosopher. This is the greatest thing since Einstein. This is the greatest thing since fucking World War II. I tell you what. And it's just it's same old bullshit. Minimalism. Everybody is trying to be like minimalist writing like Hemingway, but nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. They can't even put the subtext in there. They just say something and you can tell that they don't know anything beyond the words that they just fucking put on the page. Like, really? Really, dude? Holy shit. That's so crazy. Like 300 pages long. You could tell this person did one draft, front to back. They had to deal with the publisher. It's like, oh, write a book on this topic. It's trending. And then you have editorials being like, comparing it to shit that has been in the libraries for 300 years. Like, okay, Jonathan Hyde. Hide it. Fuck your last name, by the way. You had to get a 400-page book. You had to do double spacing. Let's be real. If somebody's going to read quote unquote philosophy, they don't care if the text is dense. You making that into 400 pages, your 95,000 measly fucking words for a topic that barely gave an outline. By the way, the only reason that you would stretch that to 400 pages is to make it look like you know what you're talking about, to make it look like you have a lot to say. When you're talking about why people don't know why fucking a dead chicken is bad, oh my gosh, the most atrocious voice crack, but I mean, it was on point. Like, people can't define morality. If you ask them a series of questions and then ask them, well, is it really immoral to fuck a dead rooster? And he gives examples of like college kids not being able to answer the question, like being able to give an answer why. Holy fuck, dude. You're making shit up. This is not real. And if anybody's read The Righteous Mind, like, honestly, that section of the book is the only thing I have a problem with. The rest I just forgot because it was so milquetoast. And if you're curious what I have to say to that, fucking a dead rooster is immoral because if somebody is willing to do those actions, even if it's not against actual people, right? That still means that there's like a trajectory of degeneracy that they're going down. They're stooping to lower and lower lows, right? If it was, if you started out and they were just like, oh, I'm just jerking off, and then it's like, oh, I'm just fucking a chicken, and then it's like, oh, I'm just fucking a dead chicken. First of all, what the fuck? Why did those words just come out of my mouth? Why did you write them down, John? Why? I could probably check the book and find out why. But honestly, I don't care. It was such a bullshit point, I forgot it. But then if you go down that line of degenerate progression, at some point, if this person doesn't show any signs of slowing down, they're going to move on to people eventually, right? It's going to be a victim. The reason why people look at animal abusers and kids that, like, killed their pets early on in life is because patterns tell us a lot of things, and usually those people become psychopaths. I feel like I shouldn't even have to talk about this. I feel like it's so well known at this point. I don't even remember what I was talking about originally. Books that I don't like and why I read them, so then I can form my own opinions. Yeah, most of this shit I just write down. I'm much more articulate when I'm writing than when I'm speaking out loud. I actually write so much it's retarded. I've probably written more words on paper than every single YouTube video in my entire catalog times like 3 or 4 or 5, which is, it's a decent amount. And my cat's freaking the fuck out. He's like jumping around and scratching things and looking at me funny because I'm speaking to no one. But yeah, I mean, life is good. Shit is going well. I tell you what, I'm in the groove. Don't throw me out of it, motherfucker. Okay. Anyways, till next time, my fags and females.